Okay, what's going on, guys? We're going to go through one of the most meta attacking formations inside the game. Now, if you remember, the one thing that I've always said to you, the 3-5-2, why it's the best formation is because it encompasses three formations. If you like the 4-4-2, well, you got a 4-4-2 here with a cam. The biggest weakness with a 4-4-2 is the lack of the cam. The 3-5-2 has that shape. If you like the 4-2-3-1, which you all do, but sometimes you find that you only have one striker, then the 3-5-2 has the 4-2-3-1 layout with two strikers. If you like the 4-1-2-1-2, you've got the same layout with the left mid and right mid. So this formation isn't a pure attacking formation and has the best of all three. The main 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2s and a 4-1-2-1. It's a combination of all three. Now, the reason why this one is better, number one, the wing is just sit a bit higher, helps a bit more on the attack. But number two, the centre mids. Now, don't get this confused with the 3-1-4-2. It's always the 3-4-1-2. This is the same as 3-5-2. The difference is the centre mids. Now, although this seems like such an insignificant difference, having the centre mids higher up the pitch helps you attack much better. Those centre mids become more involved because of where they're positioned when you rotate the ball around. That is why I had to rush through this a bit on a Friday's video, and I wanted to make this full video going over it today. So that's the most important thing. So if you like the 3-5-2, but you want to be more attacking, then the 3-4-1-2 is definitely the one to go. Now, the balanced defensive style, as I mentioned on Friday, you don't want to be overly aggressive. You've got no CDMs here. The biggest weakness with this formation would be the counter-attack ability, or should I say, the weakness on your side with the counter-attack ability. When you get turned over and you lose the ball, you're going to find yourself very weak when you get countered, especially after the patch, because don't forget, left back and right backs, they don't come back as quick enough. So that's just a few things I wanted to mention to you. So 40 width is what we've gone for, because it's quite a wide formation anyway when you're defending. You do defend in a 5-2-1-2 with this setup. And then we've got the depth on 60, so you can be aggressive. As I mentioned on Friday, this depth would depend. I would say if you're like a rank 2-3 player, 3-2-1, I would say 60 depth you're going to be more than fine with. However, I would say that if you're maybe just a bit lower, let's say like a rank 4, rank 5 player, I would strongly suggest reducing the depth. The reason for this is because when you're at that rank already, you probably know how to defend on a very advanced level. You know when to run back with your centre mids. The most common mistake that I see from all players, even players in the elite division make these mistakes, is they don't know when to run forward and when you run backwards. So the most important thing is you're able to run backwards when you know you lose the ball. I'll go over this in a second. The build-up play is balanced. As opposed to a 3-5-2, where a long ball is probably recommended, I think sometimes the game moves too quick. You can potentially use long ball, but I think balance is probably the more balanced system for this formation. It's just simply because when you get the ball going forward, if you have all these players on long ball, when you win the ball, long ball just tells the game, okay, for the first 2/3, I want those players to make runs in behind and make runs going forward. But that means that you can get isolated, especially if you're getting pressed, especially if your opponent's using like a 4-4-2, you could get pressed into the ground. So these are just things to bear in mind that you may have to adjust for your own place. As I said, the formations are going to work 90% of the time. But if you want it to work 100% for you, that final 10% is the fine tunings that you make. 7 players inside the box, and then the corners and free kicks, however you want. You can leave this on 2 or you can leave it on 1. And chance creations, I use forward runs. I believe forward runs is the most attacking, especially in formation like the 3-5-2 and the 4-2-3-1. I much prefer over direct passing for both old gen and new gen. Now we're going to go over to the main thing, the instructions. Now, very similar to the 3-5-2, no differences here. Stay central, get it behind, and stay forward for all these 3 players. So what would happen is I would have some sort of setup, something similar to this. So what I will do is I'll have the 3 players, they're all together up front for the counter attack. So when I win the ball back, I get forward as quick as I can. Stay forward for the cam. Make sure you got a cam that can do a bit of everything. So Senior with the Tiki Taka Playstyle Plus is amazing in this role. Then I got 2 strikers. Son, sometimes I use him really for the finesse shots, to be honest. He's still very, very good, even Gold Son. And Alvarez, trying to evil him. I'm going to get the 88 Alvarez, going to be one of the best strikers inside the game. Basically, my cheap ham, instead of 5 mil, I'm only paying like a couple 100k for Alvarez. But you can't do him anymore. It's only if you did him back then when I suggested to do him. Come back on offense, get into the box for the left mid and right mid. One suggestion that I would make is leave this unbalanced and conservative. The reason why I say this is because if you remember after the patch, these players don't really come back up and down in time when you lose the ball. So let's say you get turned over, you're attacking your left mid and right mid, they're going to take some time for you to reunite to make the back 5. So what I'd recommend is high work rates here and ideally good pace. I have Mendy on high and Llorente is high medium. So at least that way Mendy will come back quicker, but Llorente will come back as well, but he won't be as quick. The idea of leaving them on conservative is that they don't be too aggressive when you get turned over. And without, normally on a 3-5-2, I'll get into the box for across both these players, because if these guys get inside the box, it's fine, because you'll have two CDMs here to always protect you. Don't forget, these players are now centre mids, not CDMs. So maybe probably better off leaving them on balance. That way they're not so far, so that way they're not forcing themselves inside the box. They'll only make those runs when the game deems it to be a unique or an available space available for them where they can run in and then get the cut back. As we get into the box or cross, they're always going to run in all the time when you get the ball. And don't forget, this is from crossing situations, not from when the ball's outside the box. Remember that. The centre mids. Now, this is what makes and breaks the formation. I would say you need ideally here two versatile centre mids. As an example, what you can do is so just ignore Krieger for a second. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to move Krieger away. Let's say you got Llorente. You can put Llorente on get forward and get into the box for a cross. This is really good for those cutbacks and a late minute runner. But one of these players, the person's got to be defensive. You got to put them on stay on the edge of the box and cover center. So one's on stay back, one's on get forward. The player on stay back is stay on the edge of the box for cross, stay while attacking and cover center. The other player is on get forward, get into the box and cover center. So you need that one player to stay back. Now, as I said, if you come to this formation, you use it for a few games, you have to adjust it yourself. So if you know, this is what people fail a lot when they copy tactics. If you know your ability and you know you struggle with counterattacks, put both these players on stay back while attacking. Don't bother leaving them both on get forward or one on get forward if you know you struggle defensively, because this is even more attacking than a 3-5-2. So if you struggle with a 3-5-2 already, this is why I generally think this is probably one of the best attacking formations. I think it probably goes up there with the 4-3-2-1, although maybe because of the way the 4-3-2-1 is for cutbacks, it might be more superior and because of defensive shape. However, for a combined attack, this is very good. As I said, these centre mids, they're more involved. I'll go over the centre backs in a second. These centre mids are more involved. So when you rotate the ball from outside the box, like let's say down the wing and you're outside the box, those centre mids are going to sit higher. So when you have the ball, for example, in this situation, for example, over here, and in the 3-5-2, your CDMs are going to be sitting a bit deeper. And this is where your back three would be. They'll be ready for the counter attack. So if you lose the ball, your CDMs are going to be there. The centre mids are basically near the penalty arc, just on the outside. You think that's not a difference, but it makes a grand difference, because then you can trigger these players to make those run inwards and you can pass the ball to them and you can score those easy goals. So for rotations and actually being more attacking, the centre mids being more involved by being centre mids. That's why you can leave them both on stay back while attacking. As long as you know how to use L1 triggers, you can still trigger these players inside the box, even if they're both on stay back while attacking. Now the back three, there's nothing funky. There's definitely no overlap. I would recommend not using overlap at all. I think that just turns this into an insane attacking formation where you're just going to get countered almost every single time, guaranteed. And the goalkeeper, to be honest, has left them unbalanced. There's nothing to change on that. Anyways, that is don't forget 3-4-1-2 custom text instruction, because people always get confused between these two because of the naming. So people, even sometimes myself, I say 3-1-4-2 as well. But don't forget, it is the 3-4-1-2. 7-3-5-2. Don't forget, if you want to get better at FC, you come to my FC School Series. Patreon.com/no guides. If you want to get better at the game when you get to that elite division. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, we offer you a money back guarantee. That's how sure we are you'll improve. That's why the only service out there offers it, because we know if you don't get better after 1 month, you can always get that refund. Because that's how sure we are that our platform works. The link is down below in the description. I think probably the most in-depth tutorials in the entire scene. But anyways, that is the formation video, and that is kind of why I also sped through it on Friday, because I wanted to make this dedicated video. And just for a quick update, this video is actually meant to go up before that video, but I know everyone really wanted that week tactics video on Friday. That's the reason why. As I said here, the key thing is just pace on these players. The player that's on stay back, like a Valverde, you can even have someone defensive there. They need to have pace. I sub on this Pereira guy. He's unbelievable. He's got 99 defensive awareness. He works very well on that role. And the attacking player, Llorente, I think Llorente is more of a left mid, right mid, to be honest with you. I would say someone more. So what I normally do is and or we sub someone on over here. Someone like Joe Linton probably get the job done, but someone like Alexia or Zidane will be perfect in this role over here if you're asking me personally speaking, or Hullet as well. And then the cam is kind of an important player. This is the kind of player that's going to receive the ball at the feet and then is going to turn. Also, if you're under pressure, this is going to be the player that might have to rotate the ball back around or even go back to the centre mid. So passing is very, very good. If you've done that Triquesta, I think it's called, where you get the Tiki-Taka Playstyle Plus. The Tiki-Taka Playstyle Plus is amazing, guys, for those first-time passes. In fact, one of my best things to do is get the ball like that to the centre mids, to my cam, and then do a direct pass to one of the strikers, a first-time pass. And then I'll do a skill move, or with Alvarez, normally I do less at dribbling, or you can do the step over, whatever you want to do. It's one of the best ways for getting forward inside the box. But I guarantee you, if you can't attack with this formation, you can't attack any. Don't forget, it is, as I mentioned, finally the 4-2-3-1 with an extra striker, the 4-4-2 with a cam, and the 4-1-2-1-2 with the left mid and right mid. Anyways, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.